Welcome to Tech Talk. We're continuing our series on open source, and I've invited with us Naden, the Red Hat guy. And I really wanted to follow up on a question that came up in our recent video. We were talking about open source and how much people love it. But they asked, how do I make money doing this? And I thought I addressed this in the video, but I mentioned there was a foundational layer that you can use then to build business value in the last percentage. And I kind of alluded to support, but maybe I didn't cover it all too well, being able to charge for that. This is part of the Red Hat business model. Can you kind of elaborate on these points for our viewers?
Absolutely, Dan. I'm going to start with support. Support is something that you really get to, when something breaks. You want a foundation and you want to build up on it and you want to actually secure it. You want to make it enterprise grade from the get-go. What am I talking about? I am talking about going from project to product. And what's the difference? So when it comes to product, what Red Hat does is we not only have employees who are paid to contribute in the open source community, we actually take a set of projects and then harden them, we stabilize them. That's what you get with a product. You get lifecycle management so that customers can actually use the version that best fits their needs and they have the support needed. Now, so another way to mitigate support is the need for support is to make sure that you're ahead of the game when it comes to security. What comes to your mind, Dan, when you think about security?
Oh, there's a lot. That's a hot issue, quite honestly, and it can cause quite a panic. We've had some stirs in problems in break-ins and breaches and stuff like that. That can really drive a company crazy. How is it that this helps in the security?
To your point, Dan, security is actually a boardroom topic. It is not a bunch of engineers and just hardware and software or applications thinking about it. It's risk management. It is mitigating risk. And you want to be ahead of the game. You want to be ahead of the hackers. So proactive remediation is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about automated patching. So if you leave it to the open source community, you don't get that type of looking for what is the next vulnerability, what is the next issue that is likely to crop up. What we do is we have products that would actually track what types of remedial measures were taken and apply artificial intelligence to that so that we can predict and then also be proactive about the remediation, right? So and then there is automated patching for different types of products that we actually provide. And there have been vulnerabilities because it was manually patched in the open source community. And that's where the automated patching, which you get with product and you don't with project.
So you're saying that's where the value add, where the business value add that other companies can then offer for open source projects. Is that kind of the model you're proposing?
Well, to tweak it a little, Dan, if you're secure on that foundation with the product, you can add business value with your core competencies. Maybe you're building a soft drink, or maybe you're flying an airline or running a bank, and you can focus on that differentiates your business rather than worrying about is my platform secure or not.
Can I focus on the last 10% that really delivers value to my customers?
Exactly.
Got it. And so let's cite a specific example, like for example, Kubernetes is a project and OpenShift is a product. How does the security issue come into play specifically with it?
Absolutely. So security is not, so Kubernetes is a library, or it's a set of projects. Now, Kubernetes is also, there is a reason why it is getting the traction it is, because there are different companies. Google started it, Red Hat joined, and then now it is available across multiple cloud providers. But there is something to be said about being compliant, no matter what hardware vendor you're working with, or which software vendor you are needing to integrate, or which hybrid cloud, the cloud provider you're working with. You want to be on a platform that is secure and compliant no matter where your applications are running. That is really what makes it a platform that will allow you to work with the ecosystem. And this also mitigates risk because then you don't want to actually hit that panic button for support. If you make sure you're working with the ecosystem, you're certified on hardware, you're compliant, and you're patching, and you're secure, and with lifecycle management, the chances that you will actually make that support call, you're actually reducing it. You're mitigating risk. So strong foundation, very minimal support, only as needed.
Got it. And so the takeaway message from this is that open source is a bus you can get on, essentially.
Enterprise open source.
Fair enough. And you can ride along, but not necessarily have to drive the bus.
Yes, in fact, please don't, because it takes multiple companies, not just contributors. And open source is fun, let's face it. Transformation is not just like, a week's project. It's not a destination, it's a journey. And what we are transforming to today could change tomorrow. That's where the ride is fun, the open source ride, the enterprise open source ride.
Excellent. And that's a good note to end on. So we're going to wrap with that. If you'd like to hear new topics on Tech Talks, be sure and drop us a line below. And before you leave, please remember to hit like and subscribe.